Hello everyone, Jus4SweetZ here. Today we're going to do another freezer meal, and I'm trying to make these pre-made meals and stick them in the freezer so that the nights that I work, which I work at least 2 to 3 nights a week late, and my husband has to come home and cook for usually both my daughters, and a lot of times we end up picking up convenience food or fast food, and I'm trying to get away from that. We're trying to save some money and get away from those fast food places. So anyway, what we are going to do is we are going to make some carne asada and bell peppers, and I'm going to put them in a freezer bag, and then we will choose whether we want to make a sub out of them or if we want to make burritos out of them. So considering I already have burrito shells, we'll probably do burritos just so that we don't create any waste. But you can do either one. So I have this meat that I can buy at one of our local grocery stores, and it is all pre-cut carne asada, and they actually already season it, and it's seasoned with sea salt, paprika, onion, sugar, garlic, and it's already got some bell pepper in it, but I'm going to add a little bit more. So you can go and ask your local butcher to grind up some carne asada meat for you, and then you don't have to worry about doing it yourself. And you can season it the way you want, or if you can find it seasoned, great. If not, you can use one of your packets. So I have my cast iron skillet on, and I'm going to use some grapeseed oil today. Now normally I use wild tree grapeseed oil, but I have not been able to get any. I keep forgetting to order it, so I just found some local grapeseed oil, but I really prefer the wild tree grapeseed oil. So we're going to put that in the pan. This pan has been preheating for a while, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to stick our meat in there. And while our meat starts going, you want to put it on a medium-high heat. I'm going to open this meat up, and this is about 2.5 pounds of carne asada meat, which you could probably easily get 2 meals out of it, depending on how many people you're feeding. And depending on what you're doing with it. If you're doing it with burritos, you can easily get 2 meals. If you're making sandwiches, it might be 1.5 meals. But a lot of times what I do with my leftovers is I take them to work with me. So my leftovers aren't another dinner. They are actually my lunch for the next day. All right. So what you want to do is we're going to go ahead and switch the camera over here a little bit while that sizzles. And I have 1 bell pepper that I've already cored out. You want to make sure you get the seeds and everything out of it, because that'll create bitterness. All right, and then normally what I do is I cut it in half that way. And you can take all this extra light stuff out if you want to. And I just kind of scrape it out. So basically what I'm going to do is I cut that in half. And normally I would use a cutting board, but today we're going to use a paper plate. And I'm going to sliver this. You need a sharp knife, ever so lightly. We're going to go ahead and we're going to sliver these bell peppers. And then I'm going to do them this way. Now I don't want little chunks. I definitely want slivers so you can see it. So I'm just going to cut that in half. Now I'm only using 1 bell pepper, but if we decide to make sandwiches out of it, I will probably saute up another one. But this makes it to where you can do whatever you want with it. Or go ahead and add it if you want to. Another thing that's really good to add to this, depending on what you're doing, is some diced jalapeno, fresh jalapeno. Alright, so we're going to get that core out of there. Scrape out those seeds. And again, do the same thing. Oh, making a mess. That's why I have a tray underneath. So we're going to go ahead and slice those. As you can see, I'm using a very sharp knife. My meat's sizzling away. Now, another reason I like these make-ahead meals is that I find that if my family is on top of me when I'm cooking and they see what I'm putting in dinner, they won't eat it. They'll say, I don't like that. Why are you putting that in there? So I'm finding that with the make-ahead meals, they don't know what's going in. Therefore, I don't get the fussiness that I normally get out of people, and it makes my life a lot easier, that's for sure. So, you know, figure it this way, when you go to fast food and get something to eat, or even at a restaurant sometimes, do you actually know what they've completely put in your meal? Not all the time, but you eat it because it tastes good. So that's my theory. I get some nutrition in there with them, and they don't even know what I'm putting in. So I'm going to get a wooden spoon here, and we're going to start chopping up our carne asada. Like I said, it's on a medium heat. And I have a gas stove, so. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to add, after I chop this up a tad, this meat smells ridiculously good. I buy it at least every couple weeks because you get so much out of it. As you can see, that's a lot of meat. You can definitely get 2 meals out of it. And this package of meat cost me $6.82 for 2.5 pounds of my carne asada meat that's already pre-seasoned, and 45 cents at the same store for 1 bell pepper. So even if you put 2, it's under $1. You've made 2 meals with basically $8 worth of meat. So that's money saving right there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want to add about a tablespoon of fresh garlic, and I did a video on how to preserve your fresh garlic. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of my fresh garlic and stick that in there along with my meat. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix that all in. It doesn't have to be overpowering, but enough that it adds a little bit of extra flavor. I like garlic with everything. I'm terrible. Well, not terrible. It's healthy for you. But again, no one's watching me do this. So you see the things that I'm allowed to get away with in here, and nobody knows. All right. So at this point where I've cooked it about halfway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stick my bell peppers in. And we're just going to saute those in there. Now, another thing you could add to this if you want to is some sliced white or yellow onion, or even red onion, depending on what you have. I usually add whatever onion is in the house that I need to use. So it's another food 911. I'll put it together and go, oh, I'll put this in there because I need to use it up. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish sauteing this. And we will be back in a minute. All right, so we're back. I just finished sauteing this, and it's still bubbling a little bit, but as you can see, those bell peppers are not, I'll put it up close, they're still crunchy. They're not super, super soft. I cooked it for about 5 minutes, just sauteing it, and you know, you can sit here and you can let it cool off a little bit, but your next step that you want to do is you want to get a freezer bag. And I get a large size freezer bag, and then I put the date and what's in there. So I have today's date, and then I have carne asada bell pepper mix. And you want to go ahead, and I put it just in a bowl to help keep the Ziploc baggie open so that I'm not trying to fight it while I'm putting everything in there. So I have that like that. I'm using a slotted spoon to go ahead and scoop this in there. I want some of the juices, but there's a lot of juice at the bottom, and I don't necessarily want all of that. So, because that has a lot of the fat and everything in it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to scoop this into the baggie. And now you can put this into 2 separate bags if you like. If you don't think you're going to use most of it up as soon as you defrost it, then go ahead and put it in 2 bags and get your 2 meals out of it. I'm going to stick mine all in one because sometimes I have my kids over, and this would be really convenient for me to take out. And my older girls come over for dinner, and then I have enough for everybody without having to worry about taking 2 bags out. So I'm just going to consolidate mine all into one. So you keep scooping until you've got it all. And like I said, you want some of the juices, but you don't want all that juice in there. So when you reheat it, you're going to get some more juice out of it. And you're going to add a little bit more grapeseed oil or olive oil into the pan when you heat it up. You can also heat this up in the microwave if you want to, but I suggest when you go to reheat it, you just throw it in a skillet for a few minutes and just heat it up, and then it's ready to go. Okay, so we got it all in there. You're going to want to let this cool completely, so I just kind of leave it in here until I see no more steam coming out, and you can kind of stir it around And then when it's all done, you seal it and you stick it in the freezer and you're good to go. Now again, a couple meals you could make out of this. I'll give you some suggestions. You can make carne asada tacos. In that case, you could probably leave out the bell pepper or add it in there and dice it finer. You could make carne asada burritos, or you can make sub sandwiches and melt some provolone or some Swiss cheese over the top of it, and even serve it with a side of au jus if you want. You could serve it over rice. Rice pilaf, you can serve it that way if you like, or over a salad. So cut up some romaine lettuce, you have nice cooled meat, you can kind of warm it up to get the, you know, the chill off of it once you unfreeze it, and you can put it over a salad with some nice fresh vegetables and some ranch dressing or blue cheese dressing or some spicy ranch dressing, whatever you want. So that's a few ideas that you can do with your carne asada bell pepper mix. This is a freezer meal again, and these are the things that I've been doing to try to get my family to eat a little bit better, to pinch pennies, and to make it just much more convenient on the nights that I work really late. So I'm going to show you just a couple that I did last night as an example. I had a big bag of green beans from Costco. The bag cost $3.89. This I opened it up last night. I had it for a week, and they were going to go bad if I didn't use them, and I'm just not ready to use them yet, so I decided to do this for them. I split them into two, so I cut the bag in half. I froze half of the fresh green beans right here. Make sure you rinse them before you freeze them. I froze them so that if I want to pull them out and either, you know, saute them, or if I just want to stick them in stew or soup or whatever, they're all ready to go. And then, so I put the date and then just put fresh green beans. And then on this one, my family likes it when I saute them in olive oil and garlic, salt, and pepper. So I went ahead and pre-sauteed some and seasoned them for them. And those are in a freezer so they can just stick them out, heat them up, and they're ready to go. Which would go really great if they decided to have some carne asada sandwiches. So anyway, that's just an idea. I just wanted to show you what I did. And so let this cool completely, close it up, and you've got a freezer meal made ahead, and it works great. So if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave those in the box below, and join my Facebook page, Jus4SweetZ, which is basically all the sweet treats I do. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff, go to my group page, which is Recipe Book, and ask to be invited to that, and you can come on and share your recipes, as well as, you know, seeing some of the stuff that I do. And I actually have some other YouTubers on there that put their recipes on there. So I hope you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and until next time, next video. Oh, and don't forget to share this on your Facebook page as well. So until next time, next video, God bless everyone, and have a great day.